All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the official TLDR for PSC 1100, Intro to Psych. If you're taking this class, you are in exactly the right place. Let's just dive right in. Okay, let's be real for a second. Your professor drops a 24-page syllabus, and you just know, you absolutely know you are not going to read that thing. I mean, who has the time? It's basically a short novel.
Well, that's where we come in. Think of this as your 5-minute cheat code for the entire semester. Yeah, we did the reading for you. We're going to give you everything you actually need to know to ace this class. No cap.
So, let's get into it. Welcome to Psych 1100 with Professor McGee's. And yeah, this course is absolutely giving main character energy because it's all about figuring out, well, you. And, why everyone else acts the way they do.
So what even is psychology? The official fancy definition is the scientific study of behavior and mental processes. But let's be honest, it's basically the T. It's figuring out what makes people tick, why we do the things we do. That's the good stuff. Okay, first things first, the logistics, the deets. You gotta know where to go and when to be there, right? Because trust me, being the person who walks in late and lost on day one, not the vibe. If you know, you know. All right, listen up because this is important. There are two different sections. If you're in section P03, you're the brunch crew. You'll be meeting Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11:30 a.m. to 12:45 p.m. Now, if you're in section P04, you've got that afternoon vibe. Same days, but from 2:30 to 3:45 p.m. Seriously, grab a screenshot of this right now so you don't forget.
And the good news is, no matter which section you're in, you're all going to the same spot. It's in the Arts, Science, and Technology building in room AST 213. One room to remember for everyone. Simple. Okay, now for the part I know you're here for. How do you get that A? What's the game plan for securing the bag in Psych 1100? Let's break it down. Okay, pay attention, because this is the whole game right here. Your quizzes are 40% of your grade. Let me say that again. 40%. That's a huge chunk. There are only 4 of them, and they're all in class. Everything else, the journal, the presentation, participation, and other stuff, is split up. So the main takeaway, you absolutely have to show up and be ready for those quizzes.
All right, let's talk about one of those other big pieces, the journal assignment. This thing is worth 15% of your final grade, so it's definitely not something you can just blow off. And it's not just some random busy work either. You're going to get to dive into some real, legit psychological research.
And what kind of research are we talking about? Something super relevant. You're going to be analyzing a research article about smartphone addiction. It found that a wild 44% of college students, people just like you, are prone to it. So your job is to break down what the study was about, how they did it, and what it all means for how our phones are messing with our brains.
All right, moving on to the tech you're going to need. Every class has its own digital toolkit, and this one has a few sidekicks you absolutely have to know how to use. Okay, let's run through these quick. First, Canvas. This is your home base for literally everything. Check it every single day. Second, for those big quizzes we talked about, you have to use Lockdown Browser and a webcam. This is not optional. There are 0 exceptions. And finally, Google Suite. All of your essays, all your written work has to be done and shared on Google Docs. Not Word, not anything else, Google Docs.
And speaking of Google Docs, listen very carefully, because submitting your work is a 2-part mission. Step 1, you write your paper and share the Google Doc with Professor Miguez, making sure you give him editor access. Step 2, you have to also download that file as a docx and upload it to Canvas. You have to do both. If you only do one, it's a 0. Seriously, don't be that person.
Now you do get a little extra help in this class. You have an AI assistant named Luke, and he's available 24/7. You can use him to help you with stuff like APA formatting or maybe to explain a tricky concept. But, and this is a huge but, you have to disclose it every time. You have to be totally upfront about when and how you use the AI. Academic integrity is everything here, so don't mess around. Okay, that's enough of the boring logistics stuff. Let's get to the actual psych stuff. The reason you signed up for the class in the first place.
This is where we get into the really cool questions about how our brains work. Like, have you ever woken up and just thought, what on earth was that dream about? Well, we're going to dive into consciousness in Chapter 4 and actually look at the science behind why our brains create those wild, random movies in our heads every night.
Or how about memory? You ever wonder how you can remember the lyrics to a song you haven't heard in 10 years, but you can't remember the definition you literally just read for the quiz? Yeah, Chapter 6 is all about how our memory actually works and why sometimes it really doesn't.
Then we get to Chapter 11 on stress. And I mean, come on, as a college student, this is basically required reading for life. We're going to look at what stress is actually doing to your brain and body, and, most importantly, we'll talk about real science-backed ways to manage it. And finally, we'll get into social psychology in Chapter 14. This is the one that explains why perfectly normal people sometimes act completely different the second they're in a big group. Yeah, this chapter basically explains the entire internet comments section. So, that's the rundown. Think of this whole semester as your main quest. And the final boss isn't just an exam. It's about leveling up how you see yourself and everyone around you.
Because really, the whole point of this class isn't just to memorize a bunch of definitions to pass a test. The real goal is to take what you learn in here and actually apply it to your real life. I'm telling you, this stuff is actually useful out there.
So the real question is, are you ready to unlock the secrets of your own brain? This is your chance. Your main quest starts now. Now go get it.